Welcome to another episode of the Hammer Drops. I'm your host, Laoch. Today, while you've been distracted, part 2, we're going to discuss topics such as digital currency, inflation, global warming, Trump, Biden, Xi Jinping, Ukraine, a whole bunch of different stuff. And the best part about today is we're going to be doing this with a guest, our guest, Rob Miller. If you're watching this on Rumble or YouTube, make sure you subscribe to that channel. Give us a like, give us a comment, let us know how you feel. If you want to listen to this on all podcast platforms, or pick your favorite one for that matter, and just type in the Hammer Drops, we'll pop up and give it a listen. Don't forget to subscribe to whatever podcast platform. Give us a like, and 5 stars going to help with the algorithms and get us out to more people. Now let's get on with the show. Welcome, Rob. How are you today? Give the audience a little lowdown on who you are and what brings you to the show.
Well, first of all, we're getting a little echo there. Nice. See if I can change this. All right. We're gonna have echo today. Cool. Can you hear the echo or no?
I don't hear the echo.
You don't hear the echo. Oh, right. Just for my own enjoyment, then. Fantastic.
It's just for your enjoyment entirely.
Something like that. So I'm a friend of Laoch's, and I'm kind of a little bit of everything. I mean, I'm a historian. I've been a professor in a few different colleges. I've been a middle school teacher. I've been an auto mechanic. I've done a little bit of everything here and there over the years. So.
Huh? Nice. So, what do you think about the state of affairs that we're in now? Especially being that you've had, obviously historical. I mean, so you could see a lot of the craziness from studying history to where we're at today. It's like history repeating itself.
Well, I mean, from a historical standpoint, if you look at how, for instance, like with the Roman Empire, it rose, it peaked, plateaued, and then it died, unfortunately. And there were a lot of reasons why the Roman Empire ended. It wasn't just internal issues that they were having. It wasn't just extreme political corruption. It wasn't just foreign invasions. It wasn't high taxation without representation. What else? I mean, there was a lot of contributing factors that destroyed the Roman Empire, and we're kind of seeing a lot of that now. Right now our government doesn't want to do anything about the whole, border wall, anything about our border between the United States and Mexico, but they are, and there's documentation to prove it. It can be found online, numerous sources, and they all concur. So, for those out there that are doubters, our federal government doesn't want to build a border wall, but yet they'll build walls in the Middle East to help out various Middle Eastern countries for border security, but they won't do that here.
Well, what I find kind of funny too is like Joe Biden will put a wall around a big old fence around his house, but he won't put one to our borders so we can stop basically the invasion at our southern borders right now. I mean, everybody that's coming over from our southern borders at this time are essentially nationals from China, Russia, and all those countries that want us gone.
Yeah.
Which
funny.
It just blows my mind that, it's like, okay, but let's keep the borders open. Let's have fentanyl run through, killing Americans like crazy. But we can't even forget about the, I think I saw a stat, like 85,000 kids are just gone missing.
Oh, yeah.
So it's, this is, and it's Kamala Harris's duty to take care of the border, and obviously she hasn't done shit.
Well, just an example of, bad orange making full effect here, even though he had nothing to do with it. Here again, there's documentation to prove it. It goes all the way back to the Obama, even before Obama. You go back to like the Clinton administration, and there's documentation, Department of Justice, FBI, who was ICE, all showing that detention centers, the cages where all these children were being kept in, and all this other stuff all goes back before the Bad Orange Man. And he had literally nothing to do with it, but bad orange man. So it's all his fault.
Yeah, well, and it's funny that you mentioned that because I've noticed even on like Twitter with the Democrats on Twitter, the liberals. I mean, everybody's quick to point the finger at Donald Trump for everything, even
Yep.
though he hasn't been in office for 3 years almost. But
Yep.
our border problem is Donald Trump's problem, his fault. Our inflation's his fault. I mean, it's like Biden wants to blame everything on somebody that is no longer that hasn't been there for 3 years, and yet this is clearly his problem.
What's funny is if you go back and look at every president that we've had, at least in the last 20, 25 years, every president will say all of our current issues are based off of the former administration.
Right.
Okay, so nobody wants to own up, and then that administration will say, no, 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 that wasn't us. They always go back, even if they have their initials, their whatever you want to call it. They're all over about a certain piece of legislation that really did do nothing to help the situation. So it's just funny how the buck is always being passed.
Right.
The current administration blames the previous, and then they'll even blame, like talking about Biden with the wall around his house. Same thing too. Chuck Schumer, Nancy Pelosi. There again, they got security. They got the wall around the house, security cameras, but they don't have to worry about the southern border. It's all about passing the blame. There's a whole lot of, ooh, look at me while I'm doing this, while I'm putting this finger. Though
Right.
this finger here is going someplace you don't want it to, but it's okay. But we're going to distract you with the other hand over here. Ooh, look. So it's and I like to say that it's just Democrats are good for doing that, but they're better at everyone seeing them do it. The
Right.
Republicans tend to be a little sneakier with when they try to pull some stuff.
Oh,
And it's just so funny because then on the other hand, so you got the Democrats doing whatever the hell they want to here, the Republicans trying to be a little more cautious about it, and then over here you got the Libertarians going, well, if we were in charge, this is what we would do, and
right.
well, here's an idea. All the Libertarians out there, why don't you get a good person going? Why don't you actually, put your money where your mouth is, and get somebody running for, and it's not even just at the presidential level. I mean, you look all over the country. I mean, it's got to be what, maybe 5% of all elected positions in this country are libertarians. Maybe
Right.
5%. I mean, I don't know what the exact number is, but it's predominantly either Democrat or Republican.
Right.
So if the libertarians have all the answers, well, then why don't we, do something with it? No,
No, no, because they don't have all the answers. They're just trying to piggyback what the Republicans and the Democrats are doing and try to make it like it's their own ideas.
I will never forget when I saw a comparison chart, and this was years ago, and it was literally three columns, and it just said Democrat, Republican, Libertarian, and it was like, this party says no to this party says yes to that same answer, and then Libertarian was, well, we're going to do the exact opposite of your one. It's like, really? It was the most logical conclusion. So, like, if the Republicans are against abortion and the Democrats want abortion, and the Libertarian will say, well, hang on now. Let's put in all these different, what would you call it? Um, like we'll do it for like, okay, only for rape victims, or we'll do it just at the state level, but not the federal level. There's all different things that they want to put in. It's not that hard to come up with those answers. I mean, let's get creative.
Well, and that's the thing, like, because now I don't know if you've seen the news today, but First Republic Bank just got seized by our government, and J.P. Morgan was allowed to purchase them.
Yeah.
I mean, this is just going to be. I mean,
How does that work?
exactly. Well, this is the government interference with our banking system, which is where
Oh, I'm
they
going,
want their central bank digital currency.
watch this. I'm going, how does that work? So, if I had a business and it fails, then the government can come in and swoop it up or whatever, and then my competitor can go, hey, wait a minute now. Can I buy him?
Well, and it's funny because like they bought it's literally they took their debt, but they also got all their deposits, and I believe their deposits were like up to like $300 billion, and they picked up First Republic Bank next to nothing,
Yeah.
and it's like people don't seem to understand like what is really going on. I mean, this is the third major bank to fail in what 3 months.
Yeah. We're averaging about one a month now.
So I mean, you see, I mean, like, okay, we discussed like the Roman Empire. When the Roman Empire failed, it failed because from my study of history was the currency and allowing immigration to come through just constantly open. And look what happened to Rome.
Yeah,
Rome collapsed.
yeah. With Rome, I mean, there was a lot of things that helped. There was foreign invaders, corruption. I mean, there are politicians at the height of the Roman Empire talking about how things like, the games in the Colosseum were literally designed to distract the people, keep the people distracted and fed and distracted it some more, and you can really get away with whatever you want. There was such extreme levels of political corruption in the government back then. It was ridiculous, and especially considering the fact too that the Romans literally ripped off the Greeks with, with the whole political system that they had going. So it's just amazing that, like I said too, and foreign invaders, disease. Which, by the way, I got some more info for you here. Some good stuff here. I got about disease coming and how yes, we will have another pandemic. Yeah, yeah, this is a good one. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure it is because I know I've been watching that as well, and it's just little things that they've been like pushing for. You can just, I mean, it's like, okay, we're coming to an election. We already know. I mean, people that are awake, already know that there's going to be another one coming. So,
Oh yeah.
which one have you heard that is possibly coming?
The one I heard is it's coming out of England.
Hmm.
It's a new variant. It's
Yeah.
called the Arcturus, or it's a variant of the Omicron, of two different strains of the Omicron virus. And apparently, these two strains have mutated, and once again, we have this new virus, and it's so far it's affected 10% of London, predominantly in the was it the West End and East Ends of London, various districts there.
Hmm.
And apparently, it's coming soon to the American shores near you.
Well,
And they're saying, but this one's a good one because it's not just respiratory. No, apparently you can develop like pink eye type symptoms.
well, that is really, see, that's the first time I've heard about this one. I've heard like different like different flu viruses, like polio. Like they've been trying to see what they can do to scare the public
Oh,
with different things, and I think this is another scare tactic because what I mean, the flu's completely gone. I mean,
isn't that funny?
isn't that though? I mean, we cured the flu. I mean, I don't know how so many people can buy into, especially when it comes to the big bad C word, the Rona, when, for decades we've been trying to find a cure for cancer, we've been trying to find a cure for AIDS and all that stuff, but in 10 months we got the cure for COVID.
Well, not only that, but we've got the cure for the common cold. We cured that. We cured many strains of the flu.
Mhm.
I mean, every time now someone gets sick or gets a runny nose or anything, no, it's they got the Rona, they got the Rona. No, hang on now, no, it's just allergies, or it's a head cold. Nope, nope, nope. You got the Rona. You gotta go get tested. You gotta go. Did you get your third booster? When was the last time? And that's another thing too that always killed me about that. The whole booster shots. You don't do that for any of the other vaccinations we've had.
No.
And I always pondered if there again, I'm not a medical doctor, I'm not a virologist, but growing up and getting measles, mumps, rubella shots, you get a tetanus shot, you get various vaccinations coming and growing up, and you didn't have to get a booster within a year of getting the first shot
Right.
or second shot, whatever it was. You never had to get maybe like a 10-year booster. That makes a little more sense. 5 to 10 years getting a booster shot.
Hmm.
I can understand it a little more. But it's like, oh well, it's been 6 months. Okay, yeah, you're due for another booster. Time out.
Yeah.
So that's
Well, I think what they want to try to do is because the mRNA, I mean, that's essentially what they're trying to get into people. It's not the COVID vaccine, it's not the booster, it's the mRNA. And where they failed when the COVID first came out, and it's funny because the first two shots that were administered are no longer on the market anymore. They're completely gone. Now we know now it's just 100% probably mRNA, which is going to genetically alter your DNA eventually, essentially, and be, there's so many different conspiracies when it comes to mRNA. It's just, which one is true, but I don't know about anybody else, but I definitely will not be getting those kind of things. And I'm actually looking more at the natural ways of being able to cure things now, so I'm not dependent on like aspirins and all that, pharmaceutical shit.
Yeah, and it's funny you say that because there's a lot of things growing, in your backyard that you can use
Hmm.
to cure things. I mean, particularly in my backyard, I mean, I have everything from lemongrass, mints, what's it? I have different species of nettles,
Hmm.
which are great for everything from menstrual pain to abscesses to cuts and bruises, nausea. I mean, there's all sorts of things out there that are growing in our backyard. That as long as you don't spray it with chemicals, you can either use it as like a poultice, you can use it as a soup, you can just wash it and eat it, and it'll help you out, and it's a lot cheaper and better for you than any of the garbage that the pharmaceutical companies have been pushing. You know.
Well, no, and that's true. But see, what you're saying right now is, if Big Pharma was listening. Oh boy, we're in trouble because you're telling the truth.
Come get it.
The truth is what gets you canceled nowadays.
Oh, you remember in the good old days where if somebody had an issue with you, they'd say it to your face and then beat you up?
Oh, oh yeah.
No, no, not anymore. Now they just come for you. They come for your job. They come for your pay. They come for your reputation. They come for the. Oh, I miss the good old days. But
Well, we're in a different time. We got Gen Z, we got all them that are they're just trying to make that next generation dumber, in my opinion.
and
Um,
weaker.
un-
Oh, for sure.
Unfortunately,
Yeah.
they're not. And if you look at what's going on over in China, what they teach their kids in China, I mean, literally, they teach kids how to clean weapons and how to use weapons in school, and mathematics and history and all that fun stuff. What are they teaching our kids here in school nowadays? It's okay to be transgender. It's okay to be gay. It's okay for the. It's okay to have one of your 83,545 different whatever you want to identify as now. It's and that's what it is. And they're not teaching history because if they taught history, it wouldn't repeat itself.
History is offensive. It makes me sad. It's so scary. It makes me sad. But as far as like talking about China, I mean, in the school system over there, and it's not just China, Japan, a lot of the Southeast Asian countries, and even in the European countries, they teach the children there the native language,
Hmm.
and then they also teach them English because right up until what 6 weeks ago, uh, the world cared about America as far as trading with America, but now that we've gotten rid of our dollar out of the trading system. So, but yeah, Chinese children they would learn English. They'd be taught English. Meanwhile, like in grade school level, they're like 5, 6 years old. They're learning how to write Mandarin or Cantonese, and then they're also learning how to speak English at like 5, 6 years of age. Meanwhile, we don't start teaching our kids a foreign language. We don't give them that option until high school. And already, kids in China and Vietnam and Laos and Japan have already been speaking a second language for about 10 years.
Right.
You know,
Yeah. Well, no, well. I mean, you got to look at the liberals. You got to look at the Democrats. They want complete control. Hence why we're going through what we're going through. You have the digital currency that they want to come in this way. They can control everything what you buy. If they feel that you're buying something that you're buying too much of, whether it's meat or gasoline or anything like that, they can shut you off. And
oh,
then you got the social credit scoring system they want to implement. That
yeah,
the founder of Google is the one that designed the one for China.
I'm not surprised.
And it's just like, okay, so they want all this. I mean, but people just don't want to see the whole picture. What's actually going on. We're on the verge of losing everything, but people, you know, it's like I don't get
I
it
gotta,
anymore.
I gotta stay up today watching the Real Housewives of Atlanta, and I gotta get my Starbucks, and I gotta get my fat ass into my big stupid SUV that I can't drive, and I gotta go take my ugly kids to baseball practice or whatever. Meanwhile, they're selling us bioengineered food.
Yep.
The chemical spills, train derailments all over the country. Livestock is mysteriously dying. Thousands of herds of cattle are dying. But make sure you stay tuned because you know what the Blackhawks they're going to be on later, and you got to get your Bud Light or whatever the hell. So yeah, and that's Talking like with the social credit and all that. I mean, I already know that's definitely going to be happening. I mean, look at Nigeria. Right
Mhm.
now in Nigeria, it's at a point where it's great too because they're taking a page from what they've been doing in South America. So right now in Nigeria, it costs the average Nigerian person $44 a day to survive. Now the
Holy
banking system, because now that they have the digital currency, only allows them to withdraw up to $40 of their money a day. Yeah.
wow.
And when they did the conversion from their old paper money to a new paper money,
Mhm.
the citizens of Nigeria were told, "Hey, we're going to go from this old paper money to this new paper money, but you'll still be able to use it even though we are going to be having digital currency." Well, they left it the country left it up to the banks to issue this new currency, to which they never did.
Of
So
course not.
people are pretty much starving in Nigeria, and I would not be surprised if there's a waiting list a mile long of people from Nigeria trying to get into, any other country.
Mhm.
And they basically the Nigerian government has taken a page from some of the South American governments when they switched over to global, or I'm sorry, digital currency. Children were dying of starvation by the thousands. So to combat that, the governments there decided you can no longer report the cause of death as starvation.
Huh.
That's
Huh.
how that's how you get rid of those numbers. Sounds kind of familiar too. Just in like what last year or two, we had this scary virus going around.
Mhm.
Someone would die in a car accident, totally unrelated to the virus. And they would say, "Don't say they died because of the virus." Oh, well, what was it? Oh, it was definitely a car accident. Actually, wait, what narrative are we going with? No, now you're gonna want to say it was because of the virus because we got to up those numbers. We got to keep
No.
people scared and in their homes. We got to
Well,
keep everyone wearing a face diaper.
right. Well, and plus, even the hospitals. I mean, the hospitals nowadays. I mean, you can't trust them because they were getting paid money for everything. Every COVID, every positive virus, every person that died from it, they got extra money. Every person that got put on a ventilator.
Every well, and for a while there, and I don't want to drag my spouse into this, but my spouse works for a hospital, and she was a hero because she was still working through the pandemic, and it's just funny how her hospital, very large hospital in the greater Chicagoland area, were having problems getting ventilators. They couldn't get enough personal protection equipment. They couldn't get nearly even any basic medical supplies. All of a sudden, there's this huge shortage in basic medical supplies. But there's everything's in hand. We got all under control. Don't worry
Mm.
about nothing. Oh, and by the way, our staff is fully vaccinated, and if they don't want to be fully vaccinated, they're going to lose their job because
Mhm.
that's what you want to happen during a pandemic, an actual pandemic, supposed actual pandemic. You want to get rid of as much medical personnel as possible,
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
especially with a survival rate of like what 99.5% survival
Yeah,
rate.
yeah. I know the 2 times I got it, it was like I started off with a scratchy throat, and then all of a sudden I went and got tested, and as soon as I got tested is when I got worse. So it's weird that it worked out like that. I'm wondering if maybe this is the conspiracy theorist inside of me. Maybe that there's something on the end of those things that they stick up your nose to test. Who knows?
You never
But
know.
yeah, I mean, you can't trust them. You can't trust
No,
anybody
there's
nowadays when
nobody.
it comes to that.
I had the Rona twice myself. First time I didn't feel bad, no problems breathing, nothing. I just didn't feel 100%. Went and got tested. Yep, had it. One of the greatest vacations of my life. I was off for a month, and that was in 2020 I had, and that was great because it was beautiful October. I spent that October having a lot of fun. And then what was it? 22? Yeah, last May, I got it again. And there again, I felt like hot and cold flashes for like a day, and
Mhm.
then I was fine. So I'm like, if that's the and that, but then that was supposedly I had the Omicron whatever variant part 2 thing. I'm like, if that's the worst it does to me,
Yeah,
I'm not
that's
too,
that's kind of where I'm at with it. And it's funny. It's with like the Democrats and their green push, and
uh,
oh boy. global warming is real, and it's essentially and it's funny because every bill that they do, they try to do good with, let's get some, you know the green, let's do this. But on the backside of all these bills is like, oh, we're going to give another $600 billion to Ukraine, which in turn turns into money that's going into their politicians' pockets, greasing them up. I mean, I saw a picture of the head of their banking system over there driving a brand new like Rolls Royce
Mhm.
in fucking Ukraine for oh, it's just like, how is that possible?
Now I understand trying to help Ukraine with, we're going to send them medical supplies, food, ammunition. That's fine. But when we're sending millions and millions and millions of dollars over there, and then you find out that supposedly the most voted for president of all time with 81 million votes has decided that he's going to send over in a bill a buttload of money so we can help make sure that all their pensions and retirement funds and anything else like that for Ukraine is taken care of. Meanwhile, we've got people living on the street, not even military veterans, yeah, we got some of those,
Yeah.
and just everyday folk living on the street. We've got people that are having addiction issues. We have so many bigger problems going on in this country than what's happening over there. And it's funny too because, you know, I specifically remember a few points in American history whenever there was a military conflict of any kind and the Democrats were in power, they didn't want to go to war, but oh, we figured out a way how to make a little money.
Oh yeah.
So all of a
All right.
sudden now it's we have to now we're being now we want to be helpful, whereas before the Republicans were the war hawks, and now now that we got the Democrats in power, now we got to make sure that we can help our get out of here.
Well, and it's funny, like if you go onto Twitter or anything like that, or any social media, you just see all the Democrats, like Hakeem Jeffries and Nancy Pelosi and AOC, all of them. They're all singing the same tune, and it's like extremist MAGA Republicans, extremist this, extremist that. It's like, and everything that they're saying is describing exactly what they are doing, and it's like when you start to go through these comments of these people, like in support of them, it's like, how are you so dumb to not see that this is exactly what they're doing?
The biggest issues that I've been noticing lately, as far as with the American public, is that you basically got your three types of American citizen right now. You got your hardcore Republican, you've got your a conservative, and you get your hardcore Democrat or liberal, and then you've got the third one, which I think is the most dangerous one of all. The third one is I don't really watch the news. Like, wait, what? Yeah, I don't watch the news. I don't really like to go online they want to keep the and I there again, my spouse is with this as well. They want to keep their head buried in the sand because
Right.
there's this it's almost like there's like this view that if I don't know what's going on, if I mean, I think it's more kind of like if I don't see the boogeyman under my bed, the boogeyman can't get me.
Right. I think that's
Instead of trying to figure out how to tackle the bad things, we're just gonna, oh, maybe if I cover up and go, maybe it'll go away. No, it doesn't go away like that.
well, and see and I think that's what is going to be the downfall, especially with the central bank digital currency coming in.
Oh,
The Fed Now system that they want to launch in July. With then we also got to look at how Bill Gates is bought up. Like he's the largest owner of farmland in U.S.
hmm
Then you got China having their farms here as well, and ironically, they're right by military bases. Go figure. But and this is what's going to make it easier, I feel, for that FedNow system to go through, because you have those people that with their heads buried in the sand where they don't want to acknowledge the things that are going on, that they're going to happen, and they're just going to comply because, well, if you go to the bank and you got no money, the only thing left for you to do is comply. Or if you are if you're on retirement and you're getting the social security benefits and all that stuff, well, you're not going to have a choice but to go with the digital currency. And I feel that, it's going to take more than just that, because I think there's more people that are actually woken up to what is actually going on in America. And it's, you for them to honestly get the FedNow system going and come in with the social credit score and all that stuff. They need to have over, I would have to say, at least 60 to 70% of the population in the US in order for it to work. And I don't think they're going to get that. What do you think?
Oh, they'll get it.
You think so?
Oh, definitely they'll get it. Are you kidding me? Come on. If
Well,
people are so willing to, like, okay, remember back in the day, Wheel of Fortune,
mhm.
like in the 90s, you could play along at home. How many idiots went out and bought because Pat Sajak told them to? So the little, what do you call it? I don't even know. It's not a computer, but like a Game Boy kind of thing. The little game to play at home.
Right.
You
Right,
could
right.
then link with your TV. If the American public is that dumb enough to think if I buy this product, I have a shot at winning a prize on a TV show. Oh, and that's just a TV show.
Well,
I
you
mean,
also got to, but you
thinking.
also got to look at like the Christians and libertarians and stuff like that. They're going to see, churches and stuff like that. They're going to see this as the mark of the beast. Like they're not going to want it. I mean, I think maybe in the first go around, they're going to have to accept it. But I think as it's going, I think they're going to realize, well, no, and maybe that's when the backlash will start. But I think if that does happen, like you're saying, I think that might be actually too late at that point.
Well, it's already too late. I mean, and as far as like your Christians and your mega churches and all that go, they're gonna step in line right away because as soon as they find out, wait a minute, you're gonna take away our charity status, our tax exempt status if we don't get in line. Okay, yeah, we'll definitely get in line because they got to keep that money coming because Jesus needs a Cadillac, whatever. So um, you
No,
know,
no, mind all my listeners. I'm just going to flat out and say this right now. Neither me or Rob here are Christian. We are no, we are pagans. So, um, but we're trying to be on your side here, I guess, at this point.
I try to stay objective, but it's so difficult
It is.
sometimes,
It is.
and it's subjective too, but
Well, even in the pagan community, it's kind of they're kind of unfortunately there's a lot of wokeness going on in the pagan community as well.
well,
But
the thing too with the pagan community, not only is there a lot of wokeness, but it's either like you're all for white power or you're down with the snowflakes, and it's like I'm not a fan of either.
no, no,
Because
exactly.
honestly, if white supremacy and me being predominantly Caucasian, if I was of the master race, first of all, I would be able to go outside and not burn and standing in the sun. But that's just me. I don't think I'm, you know, I think that if the higher ups, the higher powers really wanted my race to be the master race, they would at least maybe like kind of sort of, burn proof. But hey, that's just me. Just gotta
Yeah.
throw that one out there.
No,
So,
I feel the same
yeah,
way.
I think
Well,
some of that stuff's funny. But anyway, as far as like the whole social credit score thing goes, I mean, it's coming. It's coming. Fed now is coming. Everything is coming, and there's no way that there could be any way of such nation legislation. We could start a Hands Across America movement right now, and it would fall on deaf ears because, oh no, what's going on? Oh, so and so from my favorite professional sports team is being traded to another one, and that's more important than what is this guy talking about? A digital what? Yeah, I could care less about that. What, Pokemon? Pokemon's
no,
digital. What? We're talking about catch 'em all? Oh, currency, digital currency. Yeah, see, no one's going to care.
no,
And until the soldiers, the jackboots show up at the doorstep, knocking the door down, they're not going to care.
well, and I think even with this next election, with Trump running, I know there's been a lot of everybody, the distractions that have been going on with
Uh,
Trump to get your mind off of what has actually happened behind the scenes with this Alvin Bragg and all that stuff. I think, in my honest opinion, I don't even think Trump can save what's happening. I think what's happening now is the ball is rolling. Yeah, if Trump wins 2024, he may be able to slow it down a little bit, but I think that's about it. I don't think it's going to fully stop it. Um, which is fine because I mean, with the crash of the petrodollar and the emergence of a new currency, might actually be good for America
oh,
in some
hey,
ways.
I like your positivity. I
I'm
really do.
trying.
I really like the fact I see the whole glass is half full type thing going on here. But I hate to say this, but I don't think it's going to be that rosy. In fact, I think we're just gearing up for one of the all-time biggest shitstorms in history. I don't think we're even going to see a 2024 election. There won't be that. I think
I've
sometime between July 1st and January 1st of next year, this country is going to be so busy dealing with riots, protests, food shortages, medicine
Mhm.
shortages, fuel shortages,
Yep.
um, the continued destruction of infrastructure, roads, bridges, electrical transformers, um, God, building material shortages,
Well, they just announced
everything,
on the
everything.
TV that the Feds are going to probably be raising the interest rates as well, just in
Oh, yeah.
time for Biden's new. If you have a lower credit score, you can save money on a house and what you have to put down for it and all that stuff. And the ones with the good credit are the ones getting fucked now, having to pay more money.
Hmm.
But this is how they're going to offset it by raising the interest rate even more, which
Hmm.
is going to completely screw us.
Yeah, that and increasing property taxes at the
Yep.
local state level, of
Yep.
course, because we got to offset those dollars there. Instead of actually doing something like balancing the freaking budget and getting rid of things we don't need, but nonsense.
No.
So,
No.
but I honestly think we're about to see like during the pandemic, we had riots in Kenosha, Wisconsin. There was all the
Mhm.
the nonsense going on in Ferguson, Missouri. You're going to see a whole lot more of that. Just wait, just wait for global currency to come out, or not global, digital currency. I'm sorry, digital currency in this country to roll out. As soon as your typical moron American can't go hit up the ATM to pick up a couple 20s so he can go and buy whatever. Oh, just wait. Just wait. You're going to have people just are going to be freaking livid. They're going to be pounding on the doors of the banks. They're going to be going ape shit. There's going to be rioting. I mean, like, we already don't have that going on
Right.
in downtown Chicago right now.
Ugh.
Although, wait, today's what, Monday? They're probably sleeping it off. They'll probably pull it back up on Friday. That's what it
Oh,
seems
it's raining outside. They're not going to be
like.
out there.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. They,
It's cold.
they they can afford the rain gear, but we didn't. It wasn't issued to them, so they don't want to do it in the rain. So anyway, they're more of some typical sunny and 75 type looting.
Well,
So
yeah. Well, look at that first weekend that down in Chicago where we had it
oh,
was what 70 degrees, and all of a sudden the kids take over downtown, and then they beat up a, this one lady and her son, I believe it was,
yep.
trying to get into the building. It's like, what the fuck is wrong with you people?
And,
And,
and it's the same thing. It's one of the same questions that make you ask, like, what's going on here? Like when you see all these when you see the refugees coming in,
Mhm.
and it's it's all men, healthy looking men from whatever particular country or region of the world they're coming from, and they've all got decent clothing on, they've got nice shoes, cell phones, they got a few bucks in their pocket, and they're hopping on a bus to go somewhere. And you're like, seriously, what the hell's going on? And I thought it was just over here, and I have some friends that live in the UK, and some of them have been telling me they're like, they're wondering what's going on. I mean, the fact that there are parts of the UK they have no-go zones in the UK.
well, I just saw a video on I forgot where I saw it, but over in the UK they're literally rioting and attacking police now.
Yeah.
Over in London, and France is up in arms as well, trying to get rid of their leader because he's just a WEF boy.
Yeah. Well, France is a different story. France, they're having issues because their genius president decided to raise their retirement age from 62 to 64. Then they're dealing with some other local issues, but also too another issue there is how that they're also supposedly switching to a digital currency.
Mhm.
That's why you're seeing a lot of rioting in a lot of these countries all over the world. You're seeing it in Nigeria, Kenya, obviously the UK, France. Germany's having some troubles with it. The president of Sri Lanka
Mhm.
fled. I mean, they're having problems in Indonesia with this. It's a global, but it's going to help every. It's going to be good for it's not going to be good for the citizens if people are riding right off the. What is my question is, what is going to be the massive improvement for any country going from fiat currency to a digital one? Where is the payoff? Where I want to see some pluses here. I
There
want
is
some
none.
some positivity, and no one can give me. And I just get a
Mm-mm.
lot of back talk about how well it's better for the environment.
No,
Yeah,
it's not.
yeah, it's not
It's
better
not.
for the environment. It's like
Well,
right up there with the whole Green
well,
Deal and talking about.
Well,
You know,
wait. It is better for the environment because if the government feels that you're using your car too much or your carbon footprint is too high, they can start shutting things off and prevent you from buying it. So that's how it's good for our environment.
you know, the
I mean,
same people that tell you that we have to go with alternative energy are the same idiots that are buying these hybrid vehicles because nothing says good for the environment like mining nickel in Canada, sending it overseas to be processed, then to be sent to another country to be turned into a car, to then be sent back over here because those cars, the hybrid cars, are going to fly back. We're not using ships and trains and anything else to move the stuff around. Not to mention the whole, in some countries of the world, they still practice slavery, especially when it
oh,
comes
yeah.
to in the mining industry. In other parts of the world, I mean, it's literally like a throwback to how bad this country was during the slavery era. So, if you're worrying about like human rights and saving the planet and all that, this whole Green Deal and hybrid technology is not the way to go, especially when you look at the big stupid windmills that they want to throw up everywhere. What are those made out of? They're made out of plastic. Where do we get plastic from? Plastic comes from oil.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's so hilarious. Not to mention the motors and the generators and everything else involved. What do you need to help them run? You have to put oil on them to help them run.
Well, even with electricity, you got your nuclear power plants, even power plants all over the place. ComEd has like these KV lines that are underground, and they're coated. They're in like encased with oil. So it's like you need oil, coal, and all this other stuff to be able to get electricity. But
And
hey, what do we know?
you know what I haven't heard anything lately on? It's been a good 20, almost 30 years since I heard anything about nuclear fission.
Hmm.
I haven't heard anything about that.
No.
Not unless so. I'm kind of wondering like what happened with that because that was supposed to be better for the environment than solar technology, wind technology, all that stuff. It was supposed to be better than any of these other things because you know it could be man-made and we could reuse like the byproducts from the waste and all this off, and we could reuse it and all this stuff. That's supposed to be renewable and it would be an infinite energy source, and then all of a sudden, nothing. And I think I know part of that is because somebody somewhere I think got a little some payoffs because I was hearing just the other day about how here in Illinois, our good governor, Pritzker, decided that he would keep the ban going on limiting, or I don't know if I'm going to call it ban, but keeping the limitation on how many nuclear power facilities there would be in the state of Illinois. He didn't
Hmm.
want to increase that amount. So I don't know if it's one of these things like you hear about when someone discovers how to turn water into gas and the oil company comes along and wants to buy out the formula.
Right.
I don't know if it's one of those type of things or something, but there's got to be some money changing hands here because I got a feeling that may have been, if not a definite solution, it may have been, it could have been something that we could have looked into more. But I'm thinking there's got to be. It's Illinois. We all know there's some money changing hands
Yeah.
here to keep. There was probably like a group of scientists working on it, and they figured out a way how to, get us off fossil fuel dependency or whatever. And oh yeah, no, we're not gonna, no, 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 because that would, yeah, yeah, no
Well,
fun.
that's corrupt Illinois for you.
Mm-hmm.
So now the whole Trump thing. Do
Oh.
you think Trump is going to win in 2024 if we have an election?
Yeah. Oh, oh, this is good stuff. Well, let's see here. Let's see, Fantasyland. Well, let's say there is still a country worth left to govern here by the supposed honest election time of 2024. You know what? I gotta fit. It's gonna be. See, I don't know because I really don't think there'll be an election. If there's going to be an election, obviously, yeah, Trump will be running. We know Biden apparently,
Yeah.
supposedly, he's thrown his walking cane into the ring there.
And I don't
But
and for some reason I don't think RFK Jr. I think he's going to have the same fate as his father. I'm just going to predict that right now. When
well,
his father ran for presidency.
have you heard about some of the stuff he's been posting online?
Yeah. Yeah, I've
This
been
one
keeping an
guy, that definitely needs to keep his mouth shut. Because, like you just said, like look what happened to his old man.
Yeah.
I mean,
He's definitely going to be pissing off the wrong people like Big Pharma and all that stuff by what he's saying. Look what happened to Tucker Carlson. I mean, he got fired, and ultimately the reason why he got fired, it was funny because a week prior he basically went off on Big Pharma, and a week later he's fired.
yeah,
A
but
lot of
that's
people, a lot of
that
people were
doesn't
starting
mean
to think that it was J6 though.
that's just
That
a wacky coincidence,
yeah.
you know.
Well, the Murdoch family definitely made an example and got rid of him and didn't
Oh
re-up Bongino either, which
no,
is their two flagships for Fox. I
yeah,
mean, that just I think is
or
I think that just pretty much fucking killed Fox.
pretty much yeah. Well, they'll just have to stick to their reruns of Family Guy and whatever else. I don't even know. They're a Family Guy and what's the other one? The Simpsons reruns, or are they still doing a new show? I don't know, but
I don't know. I don't even watch network TV
I
anymore.
don't either.
I
But
if we're watching anything, it's usually a movie or we're watching documentaries. We're educating ourselves on
yeah,
what's coming and what's happening. That's
yeah,
what we're doing because that's more important than being dumbfounded watching like Family Guy or Simpsons or whatever else is on network TV nowadays. Because
no,
even we made the mistake. We were breezing through some channels last night. To be honest with you, like even on True TV and all that stuff, it doesn't matter whatever channel you turn to now. You have a big pharma fucking commercial that's going on, and
oh
it's
yeah,
like, what the hell? I don't want to see this crap.
and it's so funny too. It's like whatever happened to like actual commercials for products?
Right?
No, like you don't see
Toys.
much. The only things that you see for commercials on now are it's either for some sort of from whatever, it's for
Hmm.
medicine of some sort, or personal hygiene products.
Yeah.
That's really about it. You don't see anything like, "Hey, are you hungry and want to make a sandwich? How about you buy this bread?" No,
Right.
no, you don't see stuff like that, not anymore.
You don't see the commercial for the toys for kids either.
No,
I haven't seen a good toy commercial in a long
never,
time, like
I
Nerf guns and water soakers and all that stuff. You don't see it.
no. Or
It's
if it's not an advertisement for a personal hygiene product or a medicine of some sort, it's a commercial and advertisement for coming soon. The latest distraction on our crappy network is this great new show called
right, right.
Dancing with the Stars,
Or one of
Friday Night Live, whatever the hell. It's always for some BS shit. It's like,
or Gordon Ramsay's one of his 7 or 8 shows that he's got on network TV right now.
although I will respect that man in the fact that
Yes.
he's able to take something as seemingly as basic as professional cooking, and he's able to build an empire off of it. I mean,
He
that's
yes.
some next level boss stuff. And the fact that he's got the personality of a rock, I mean,
He's an asshole.
that's
I
what I'm
mean, let's
saying.
be
The fact
honest.
that he's able to do that and still be kind of a douchebag about it. That's kind of some next level savage shit. Because
Yes.
especially nowadays with everyone being nice things, shit. So,
Well, shit, man. We've been going now for about 50 minutes.
oh, I could keep going.
Yeah, no, I can too. Usually my episodes are usually about a half hour long.
Oh,
Um, I definitely want to get you back on the show again, Rob. I think this has been a great episode, and I've had a lot of fun with this, and I need to get you back on again.
all right.
So, but I think this is where I'm going to cut the show for today. I think we covered a lot of great things. Maybe even left it open for a part 3. You
I
know,
think we could do a part three part. We could go all the way up to Leonard part six here, because I mean we haven't really even started talking about the real scary shit.
no, we haven't.
Oh,
And I think that's something that we need to start talking about. You know what? You and off air, we'll talk about something and get something planned out because I want to start getting into bug out bags, stuff like that. How people can start preparing themselves
yep.
for what's coming. And like you said, we have a whole slew of stuff that we can keep going on with this.
Oh,
And
well,
we barely scratched the surface today,
oh,
but it's just you know yeah. So I'm gonna cut the live feed now. Well, the
all
feed
right,
here real quick. And yeah, it was definitely great having you and on the show. But hold on real quick. I'm just gonna end it real quick.
all right.